First of all, Janet Yellen could just say this is what it is. She doesn't need congressional approval. She can tell Jerome Powell, I want you to revalue gold to this number. The head of the Dutch National Bank has been talking about this for a long time. He said, we should revalue the gold that we have that's worth 20 or 30 billion euro right now. It's valued at $35 an ounce across the board on all the European countries. It's still the Bretton Woods number. In the US, it's valued at 42.22. They revalued it or made it official sometime after it was released from the peg in 71. But anyways, the bottom line is that you can't make it up. Every single central bank balance sheet holds gold in what's called the gold revaluation account. And as it is right now, the gold that is held in these accounts is not able to be to offset liabilities. And so the way that they hold it, it's the gold that they physically hold is in an asset on their balance sheet, but on the liability side is something called the gold revaluation account, which mirrors the amount of gold in the asset category. So it offsets one another, balances out. There isn't an ability, if you will, to offset it at this point against assets or liabilities rather. And so the head of the Dutch National Bank keeps saying, we need to do this, we need to do this. Well, it became even more relevant when Cynthia Lummis, the senator from Wyoming, speaking at the Bitcoin conference in Tennessee, after Trump got off the stage talking about establishing a strategic Bitcoin account to help pay down the debt, she got up and said, yes, and I'm going to submit a bill requesting that we revalue the gold that the Federal Reserve is holding on behalf of the Treasury to fund this. And so you're getting more and more and more people talking about it. You have Jim Rickards as an example, who said $27,000 an ounce. You value it, the gold held at Fort Knox, supposedly, which hasn't been audited since 53 against M1. And there are others that will use M2 and do it. And whatever the number is, look, every $4,000 increase in gold would give a $1 trillion free and clear deposit into the Treasury General account. As crazy as this sounds, okay? And I'm not, I did an interview with Michelle McCory of Kitco, and I said this, and that's actually the title that they ran with, and is that you put it 130 or 140,000 an ounce, as nutty as that sounds, and just make a decree and say any government that wants to send their gold to the U.S. Treasury will pay them 130,000 an ounce. That value, based upon the 8,300 and whatever 30 metric tons we have, would render our 36 trillion in debt almost completely balanced with our assets. Is it crazy? Over my shoulder is President Roosevelt. This is when everyone owned gold. In 33, it was currency. He confiscated it, and then by decree devalued the dollar by 40%, increasing the price of gold by 40%. It happens. It's happened. Could it happen? Yeah, why not? It's probably a lot easier than outright default or hyperinflation. Yes, it would create inflation, but it's probably something that would they notice as being less painful than the other options. But could it happen? Yeah, I think that is. Look, why would the most powerful bank in the world, the BIS, reclassify gold as the world's only other tier 1 reserve asset next to U.S. treasuries and dollars after almost 80 years of it just being dollars and treasuries? If they didn't have something big in store for gold, why would the central banks be buying gold at a level the world has never seen before and repatriating it? Literally, no one's in 100 years of central banking, nothing like what they've been doing the last few years has ever happened before, where they're buying gold hand over fist. Of course, it is the only other tier 1 asset in the world, and they're all repatriating that gold at the same time. Why would the head of the IMF say, write a report in 2023 saying gold as an international reserve currency, a barbarous relic no more, ? Why would Kristalina Georgieva, the head of the IMF, say a CBDC not pegged to something is just fiat? And of course, in principle, we already see that the unit settlement token is 40% gold. I've been saying for 4 years now, the only way to legitimize a new system is to marry blockchain technology with gold. And that's indeed, I think, where we are ultimately heading. But in order, if you look at the 40%, that's what the Swiss used when their currency was backed by gold, 40%. That gives 60% monetary latitude, money creation and whatnot, enact or use monetary tools. So yes, I think, as crazy as it sounds, that it would benefit all of the central banks who have been the biggest buyers of gold in the world to raise it to a higher level, to allow the offsetting of gold against your balance sheet liabilities. And I think it's something that they notice. And when Cynthia Loomis, the senator from Wyoming, says it, to me, it's a whole lot more noticeable than when the head of the Dutch National Bank says it. But the fact that both of them are saying it, to me, tells me that the West understands it, notices it, but so does the East. And these are the countries that are buying it and producing it and possessing it in a way that, is we've never seen before. So yeah, I think there's a probability, don't know how high a probability, but better than ever before, that is on the table. And it would immediately not only render countries' balance sheets in good order, but it would reestablish credibility in a system that is massively lacking it. No one trusts it anymore. No one trusts politicians. That's why there are ridges on coins, because you go all the way back to the Roman time, and they had to pay their soldiers all around, this expanding empire. So it's getting more expensive. So they would just lightly trim around each of the coins and get a pile of shavings that they could melt down and fashion into more coins. And that's just politicians' way of choosing inflation over the tough decisions or over austerity. It was true back then, and it's true now. So the only way you will ever get, I think, credibility in a system is to peg it to gold. And if you don't want it to be redeemable, because, convertible currencies convert. President de Gaulle proved that. I think you just tie it to blockchain and make it very, very transparent and very open, and you have a system that has a fighting chance of credibility and sustainability. So yes, I do think ultimately that is on the radar, and probably a higher probability than people would give credit to.
On one end, again, Trump is going to do everything he can to pump the economy. He's a bottom line guy. And that's why we're saying we believe that even though they're saying that inflation's higher than anticipated, and the Fed's going to be lowering interest rates, that they're going to slow down the interest rate. He's going to do everything he can to pump the economy up. Again, like him, hate him, it's going to do everything he can. Look at his track record. As I mentioned, what happened back in 2018 in December. He's going to do everything now. So again, Canada just lowered the Bank of Canada lowered them, 50 basis points? The ECB just lowered them another, 25 basis? It's a freak show. What I'm saying is they're all lowering interest rates. It's one big club. The United States is not going to keep interest rates high because all these, look what's going on with the loonie and the euro. They're all going down. Everything's going down. The United States is going to lower interest rates, we forecast, because they can't keep them high because the dollar will be too strong and these other economies will suffer because they're low, their currency's going down. Inflation will kill them. So the lower interest rates go in the United States, the higher gold prices go. That's the way we see it. So right now, gold is on, gold's, again, one of our top trends for 2024 was a golden year for gold. Yes. Gold prices have gone up over $600 an ounce since then. They were flying high until Trump came in. And again, this is why somebody calls me a futurist. I said, nobody could predict the future. There are too many wild cards.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the Trump again. Go back to when he wasn't president and how much he couldn't stand Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies and sort of fraud they were. Oh, then he got how much money? What, a couple of $100 million in the crypto club, and now he's pro crypto. And what is Bitcoin now? Like $107,000 a coin. It went up over 40% since he came into office. That brought gold down. If there were no cryptocurrencies, gold prices would be at least double what they are now. Again, if Bitcoin, again, this thing wasn't invented like 2009 or something like that. Again, it's not what you want, what you wish for, what you like. It's what is. And now with Trump behind this and the people that he's bringing into his government, very pro-crypto, we see this thing keep booming. And again, we've been right about it. In the magazine, the Trends Journal, each week, we've been very bullish on it. And we're saying it's going to continue to grow because of the people he has into office.
But what do you do? Do you buy it at like $106,000?
Again, they're the other cryptos that you're going to start coming in and playing the game. It's a gambling game. Again, if that wasn't there, you would see gold prices, at least I believe, double what they are now. If you didn't have all these cryptocurrencies. And again, countries like El Salvador going, crypto. I mean, it's like, so it's going to be, again, we're still very bullish on gold. To us, it's the number one. And again, we have no advertisements. Nobody pays us to say anything. We're 100% bullish on gold. Cryptocurrencies has its weaknesses. It doesn't, and now nobody talks about the weaknesses. The thing is invented. It's an invented thing. Gold is real. It's been around for, since the beginning of recorded history. And it's not going to go away. And the central banks are going to keep buying it. Inflation is going to keep rising. And again, the deeper the dollar falls, the higher gold prices are going to go. And again, that's the other thing you have to look at about all these countries that are disgusted with America's economic and geopolitical hegemony. The BRICS are real. And there's going to be a point when they've had enough of the dollar and enough of the United States. We're only 345 million people out of 8 billion.